Hello, my friend Roger Federer. I just wanted to send another video. It's also a part of my process that I said I was going to show up as a fan. And so, this is definitely something that's interactive. At least I hope if you're watching these videos, or maybe it's just a monologue all this time. I don't know. But I like to not think so. I'm going to say I don't think so. I know Roger Federer's watching my videos. Anyway, so I just wanted to check in with you today. As a fan, just want to remind you that I'm one fan, but I speak for many when I just say you have so much support for you right now. And I cannot stop telling you, probably will always be a broken record in this manner. Just saying that we're so proud of you, and you know. Your performance and your development and your difference with the way you're approaching the game. Your matches between Roland Garros, what they were at Roland Garros and what they've been at Wimbledon, have been absolutely, astronomically commendable. And I know you are inspiring millions of people just watching your performance here at Wimbledon. So we're so proud of you, and I'm just proud to see you just step into just your true form as a player, like your true identity and your true presence in the tennis world. So that's great. So I'm really proud of you. But I did wanted to just check in with you today, and just kick out a little reminder. I feel like this is also kind of what I was saying the other day, which is like the work. You know what I mean? Like the whole just mental challenges and stuff like that. And I know you sounded so great and so positive with your back issues and stuff, and that you've dealt with it in the past, so you kind of know how to deal with it. And I really commend you, my God, for like really just staying in 4 sets and fighting with this, fighting with another opponent, Melise. I'm just really, I can't tell you, again, how proud I am as a fan. So, having really said that, like, again, I just hope that you are, definitely just taking your health into honest and great consideration, which I imagine you are. Just know that, your fans really support you no matter what your decision is. Like, we're fully behind you and whatever you do. Now, if you can play, that is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And, so many of us are sending tons of well wishes just for you to have that final straightaway all the way to that cup, holding it up. So, you know, it's great. Either way, whatever happens, you know what? Everything is all good. I feel like you're at a point in your game, um, where you just, the way you've been performing now, like this has just opened up a whole new realm for you. And I really like have a good feeling like about all of this. And I know I kind of went off course just a few minutes ago, but it's just kind of like I was talking about that fighting that fight, that the work. That's what I was talking about, the work. It always kind of seems like when you're really changing up stuff, like your whole approach and attitude has changed and shifted, between Roland Garros and Wimbledon. And then it's like you get this back issue. And I know you've had back issues before and stuff like that, but it's just like, where is it now where it's like challenging you mentally, possibly, even though you seem to be handling it very well mentally. But just like look at that today. Like, I just want to ask you, are you clear mentally, and if you are, with regard to this issue, and if you are taking a tally of your health that is based on what your back is telling you and not what your mind is telling you. And so, if it turns out that you have to actually, and maybe you're well, and maybe I'm just like all in this other whole realm of reality, and that's cool. Like, if it doesn't apply to you, then oh, that's awesome. But as you are going through today and stuff like that, like, my question to you is like, how are you looking at the match? Like, are you letting are you, how are you looking at it, just, as playing tomorrow, as playing on, like, if you're well, and you just feel like you're gonna manage a couple of things, and that it's okay, and it absolutely is fine health wise for you to do so. Like, what's your mind telling you? Like, where's your mind in all of this? And has it altered, your approach and your view to how you really want to continue on in this tournament? So you may have to reassess some things, like, what do again, like, how do you want to come back into this tournament at this point? Like, how do you want to come across the finish line if you decide that health wise it's okay for you to play? And then also too, if you decide not, like, listen, it's not that, it's just, maybe you already know this, it's not the end of the world. You will just keep playing on. I really feel like no matter what, this is really a new door for you. And I think whatever happens, the rest of your season and the following years of your career are going to be some really good ones. I really feel like you're on this real mental kick, and I cannot tell you, like, how much I'm just respecting the fact that you digging your freaking heels in and just making this change for yourself. It's just beautiful to see the transformation. Like, I'm freaking inspired. There's like stuff I'm telling you in my videos, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta, I'm like working on stuff. I'm changing stuff. You know what I mean? So I could be like matching, the Roger Federer, like, I'm talking to, like, I could be matching, like, your as airy fairiness would say, your vibration, your energy, just match that energy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be running around with, what did I say the other day? Like, 3 wheels on the car and 1 flat tire. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy because it gave me a boost, like, the way you've been going through this tournament, and also just kind of give me like a little bit of a boost in energy in my own, like, just re-locking in my own projects. Like, how do I want to approach them? How do I want to look at them? So anyway, enough about me. I just want to go back to you now. Just to reassess, like, again, like, okay, so here we go. Now you have something new, and it always seems like, when you make changes, the changes that you have, the shifts that you have, it always activates new challenges. Like, have you noticed that when you decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna really decide to move the noise out of my life, I move myself out of my own way, like, some new challenge comes in. And that's what I kind of feel like this back issue's been. And I feel like the changes you've been making, again, is a transition in the sheer difference of the way you were approaching Roland Garros and the way you were approaching your matches at Wimbledon. So it's kind of like you made all of these new shifts and stuff, and there's just one last thing to deal with. You know what I mean? It's one last mental challenge to deal with. You've dealt with it on the court, but now you have this back issue. And so, again, I just wonder, like, be cognizant. I just want to support you in this process. And you may already be aware of this, but just be cognizant of, honestly, what is your back telling you, and what is your mind telling you, and what is your mind going to start making up? Like, what stories is it going to start making up? Oh, like, this isn't, this, I gotta be on, like, what type of story, that hamster thing, like, what the hamster gets on the little, in its little box, it has that little wheel it runs on. It's like the mind can start doing that too. And so I'm just here to support you today, to just say, be able to stick to how, the difference between sticking to, okay, here I am, how do I want to approach the rest of Wimbledon, okay, I want to be careful. I don't know what's fully going on with your situation, so maybe I kind of can't even answer the question, and I kind of am hesitant right now to put anything out, because I don't want to put anything out that's like negative. That you might be in a really good space, and I just don't want to put out something that is not even going on for you. So, just decide, like, if you need to get around certain things, like, if there's a situation with your back, like, how are you going to be able to play, and what moves, and you know, what tactical moves, like, just help yourself and take power. Like, what tactical moves now? How do you need to reassess your game so that you still stay on course and you still can beat these guys? Obviously, you're really unbelievable. You know that. So, and I mean also strategically, how you set up shots and stuff like that. Like, what's gonna be easier for you to sort of not conserve energy, but playing points, like I was saying, for lack of a better word, playing points smarter, like optimizing your performance, like in the right areas, like I was talking about with that ball the other day, that play the other day against Beneteau, where initially, like, you had that play, that point should have been yours at the point where you just, you know, hit the ball down the line, down the left side of the court, but it didn't have enough speed on it, so Beneteau was able to get back to it. And you guys went back and forth. He pulled you up to the net. You ran up there, which was a great effort. And he ended up he pulled you over to the right side of the court. You ran up to the net, but then he just ended up hitting the ball over the left side. And I hope I'm remembering that play right, or if I'm like mixing two plays together. I don't know. I thought about that after that other video. But anyway, so, you know, just like, where can you optimize, like, little shots of power? You know what I mean? Like little extra, little extra power punches that'll save you some energy, that'll win you the point. Maybe, you know, also to just figuring out, maybe you need to play the drop shot a little more. I don't know, you know, but I'm just saying, like, you can absolutely, if your mind is not in a place, like, if you are going to play and you are already healthy, let's just put it like that, let's just assume that that's what the case is, like, how do you want to approach Wimbledon at this point to just keep ensuring that you are going to capture the win, or you're going to give your absolute, you're just going to dig in the whole way. I think you already had the mental game down. I feel like you've really shown proven yourself here, and now it seems like there's going to be a test for you, which always comes when we really decide. Like, I feel like every human being really decides, like, they want to change something up in their life. Here comes the extra challenge. So now you're going to have a challenge where maybe you're dealing with your back, and the mind will start to want to make stories and start worrying and making up scenarios that haven't even happened. And if you're in the here and now, like, you know, if the story isn't in the here and the now, you know, it's kind of like you're making it up. So just notice that too. And it's okay if the mind starts making up stories. You just need to create a plan that's going to support calming down the mind, so that the mind could then lock back in and be available for you to play, for you to just, the mind can be available for you to just be fully on, fully functioning to your highest capacity in a match. So that's what you should be doing today. Number one, just keeping a really positive attitude. Number two, knowing that nothing is the end of the world. Your health is the most important thing. So regardless of whatever happens, you know, again, I as a fan support you. I'm so behind you in whatever you do. If you are playing, if you are healthy, I'm very happy for that, and I'm rooting for you all the way. And I'm digging down deep as my own personal commitment to follow through and showing up, like I said in many videos ago, showing up as a fan, following through on certain things, which are my own personal goals that don't even have anything to necessarily do with you. But I'll be sending tons of really good energy. My thing is, like, you know, again, throughout all of your matches, that things are opening up for you, answers are opening up for you, possibilities, you make possibilities happen, you make plays happen with ease, and the game just comes to you with ease, you know, like, and it's really good, like, affirmations and stuff like that, to just really get into saying that, like, you're calm, cool, and collective. And also just, like, try to visualize yourself too. My body is in total harmony, total equilibrium. My game, my mind is calm. I am calm. I trust my body. I am safe. I am healthy. You know, like, if you're gonna play, you need to be doing things today. You need to just be strictly adhering. Oh my gosh, did I, like, lift up my little brush with all this hair in it? you just need to strictly adhere to the positive, and don't like let your mind go off into the negative. Like, only adhere to the positive. And I'm not saying there's a difference between adhering to the positive and doing things to support that, and living in a fantasy. You know what I mean? So when I say adhere to the positive, I don't mean like blindly living in some weird fantasy. I mean that, it's like, as a backup, what can I do to support myself? Just feeling comfortable playing, feeling like, I could move my arm and maybe I won't like strain something, or like, that's just, I'm not saying that that's what happens with you, but I'm just thinking like people become very tentative and stuff like that. But obviously, so what can I do? Like, what kind of treatment do you know? You've been living with us for a while. So, is there anything you could bring on the court? Is there any extra vitamins you take at this time? Do you wrap your back up at night? So I have, my mother is very sensitive to, I know you mentioned like cold wind and stuff like that. My mother's very sensitive, like when cold air starts blowing on different areas of her body, she becomes very sore as well. So she gets her vitamins, and she's like a coconut water maniac. Like, she swears by coconut water. So organic coconut water, and raw coconut water, I think it is, that she drinks sometimes. But anyway, whatever. Um, yeah, so whatever, your little remedies and stuff like that, just um arm up, I guess you could say, so that your mind, it could be at rest, and it's the easiest thing to keep the mind from just not like starting to go off into this story and these worries and things like that. Number one, knowing, again, this is not the end of the world. I think this is really the beginning for you. Like, the way you've been playing these matches, it almost doesn't matter what happens here at Wimbledon. I think you're going to have you know a fantastic season, and a fantastic rest of the career, because all you needed to do was start checking that mental thing. And I know you're going to keep developing it, and your skill, you're already like better than these guys. So what, you have a freaking injury, it's like Nadal's been injury prone the whole time. Like, there are other guys who have been out, but Del Potro's been out with injuries. It doesn't mean anything, you know what I mean? As long as your numbers really speak for you, and as long as you obviously take care of yourself, and obviously, are keeping yourself in the best health possible, then you know that you can keep playing at a highly competitive level and winning. So just know that those things. It's not the end of the world. So that should keep down another form of anxiety. You know, arm up again. Like, I don't know if it's vitamins, or it's whatever your little home remedies are and stuff like that. If you need to wrap your back up or whatever, make sure you just keep heat in it, if and keep it away from cold. It's just another thing my mother does. It might not work for you, but that's just her little own personal remedy and stuff like that. And what was I gonna say? Again, just really putting together, sitting down at a plays, like, most likely, and I really hate to look forward and stuff like this, but you're gonna play Usney. Okay, great. You have 13-0 record with him. He'll be looking, of course, to try to capitalize off the fact that your back was hurting and stuff like that. So you should be looking at extra ways that you can beat him, but also optimizing shots. Like I said, wherever you can utilize power to really close out a shot, like that shot with Beneteau down the left side of the court. Had you just put a little more speed on it, it would have been like 3 less plays for you to make. If that's the correct terminology for it, or 3 less moves. So less physical strain. You should be looking at, what can I do that will cause less physical strain. And there's a difference between being conservative and playing tentatively, and just playing smart, obviously. And when I use the word smart, please don't take that like as any indication toward you, because I don't mean it that way. It's just too lazy to figure out something more specific. But yeah, economical, I guess you could say. Smart, economical, something that just really works for you, in expending the least amount of energy, but not playing small, at the same time. but just staying healthy. And I feel like I'm really rambling on here, but figuring out those things will give you some power. You know, like what do you know about Usain playing him 13 times? You know, like what can you do? Easy things like just to get over, just to sort of conserve your energy the most, but not looking, you know, like you're being tentative, because I think being tentative and trying to conserve energy, it comes across, it does translate over to the other player, and that's okay as long as you're winning, you know, or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I think playing conserving, there's a difference between playing smart and a difference between conserving, and usually conserving never brings out any kind of reward except the one you don't want. But again, if it's a true back issue, it's fine. If it's the mental issue, judging the back that doesn't have problems, then that's all that I'm saying in this video. Like, how are you supporting yourself mentally, and really determining who's driving in this situation. If the back is saying, no, okay. But if it's just the mental that's going on, just be aware of that. Be aware of sorting that out. And then you're going to do that by saying, how do I want to approach Wimbledon at this point? How am I going to be my best friend? And, I've been supporting my mind through this process, the process of it generating worry and possible anxiety and stuff like that. How am I going to support my own mind? I'm going to figure out some extra shots. I know, you're going to be playing most likely Djokovic, like I was saying a few moments ago. I hate to like jump up further than this match or whatever, but I think if you just take some moments to also strategically figure out what else can you do to sort of support yourself, and you know also just have your highest performance against Djokovic and anyone else who's in your way. If you decide that it's the right thing for you to do to play. So, just take a time for that extra preparation, and it will calm the mind down, and it therefore will make the mind more available for you to just be on and play the shots. Optimize the shots, if you're, and there's a difference too. I don't know if it's possible, but a lot of times, anytime these guys are up at the net and they just flick a drop shot, or they respond to a drop shot that's been sent their way and they just flick the ball back, usually the opponent ends up just slamming the ball away, and it's kind of like figuring out those shots too. Like, if I'm at the net, I need to put that ball away, because most likely somebody's going to rush up and get it. So it's just figuring out, if my back hurts and my legs are working, how can I just use my legs more? Maybe I'll rely on my legs more. You know, I don't know if it's like, you need to figure out something like with your backhand as well. Like, does that swing affect your back? Which I imagine it does. And then you already know people like to take advantage of it. So, I don't know. You're going to have to figure out something as well that's going to support yourself and is also going to dissuade people from just cheaply trying to play to your backhand so that they can desperately hold on to their number one ranking in the world and win the title. I'm sorry to talk about you like that, Djokovic. I'm sorry, but it's all true. It's all true at this point. It's gonna be very desperate. And Roger, like, be cognizant of like how your mind is determining, like, if your mind is bringing that in too, like, oh, Djokovic is going to be desperate and I've got to deal with my back, and you may not even be having these issues, and I may just be talking about extreme stuff. So just disregard it if it doesn't even apply, which I'd be happy if it doesn't even apply. But you know, be aware of how you're processing that information too, like your anticipation and stuff like that. And I would say that's valid. That's a valid thing to think about, but just the way to do it, the way to deal with it, is not allowing the brain to generate any anxiety and try to turn over a decision like, oh my gosh, you can't do this. Like, never let it turn over a decision like that. Just always be acting. Like, what can you do to maybe you're bringing Djokovic to net more, which maybe will help you to hit shots that don't have as much, that don't require as much force. Just really figure out, like, because the time is now. And some of this stuff may be boring to you. It might not be what you enjoy about tennis and stuff like this. But again, this is a time, like, if you are healthy enough to play, this is still the time. Like, the time is now. This very Wimbledon this year, you want all of these things this year. You really wanted to do well in London, and just remember that, this is just a week of your life. And if you could sit down and do some more research and go, how am I going to approach this? How am I going to help myself through this? What are some, even some cheap shots? When I say cheap shots, I just mean shots that are efficient and economical, that don't require too much effort or strain. It could also throw the other opponent off. Like, what are ways to, kind of like the way people serve to your backhand. But when I say cheap, I don't mean dirty playing, and I don't mean cowardly playing, like a freaking cowardly shot. You know what I mean? I just mean, but I don't know if you feel that you need to do a cowardly shot just to get through, whatever for now. But no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, just really, the time. This is the Wimbledon you're gonna be if you are healthy, and you are really ready to play. Just know this is the Wimbledon that you're gonna be looking back on. You're gonna be 45 years old. Look at like how McEnroe and Borg come back in the interview. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to say this in a way to put pressure into this situation. I'm just saying this, like, the time is now. This is something that you truly, truly want. And I really, from my own experience, and just in general, like, you just know, like, this is what you want right now. So any preparation, any extra focus that you need to take, like, it's only a couple more days of your life. Even if it requires you to do some sort of research that you find is boring or you don't like to do. And it's worth it, because this will be the Wimbledon that you will always look back on. Like I said, in 2025, you'll be looking back on this Wimbledon, and you want to remember it in the right way. Even if you need to make a decision that requires looking at your health, then that's fine. But at least you put it all out in the court as much as you could, and you could look back on this and be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I did the honest best I could with what I had at the time. So that's why I'm making this video. Like, what are you thinking about today? How to keep your mind in check. How to also keep any anticipation in check. And maybe it is a little worth it at this point to look forward into the semifinals, into the finals, but looking forward into a way that is not generating any anxiety, but being proactive about, again, putting that fire in the belly. It's kind of like, pretty much who you're going to play. Like, you need to figure out some things about, using, like, some extra plays that might help you, if help you, as well, if you're not feeling 100% up to par, and you do decide that you're going to play. It will be worth it to sit down and go, okay, what kind of shots can I get off that would be a little easy here and there? And you don't have to play those shots throughout an entire thing, but let it serve as sort of a cradle at points where maybe you get tired or something like that. Like, you can just pull off this one shot, and that'll be like a nice little cradle for you to get a point, but not keep, give you yourself just a little rest, or give your back just a little rest here and there at intervals and stuff like that. And then I think it's definitely at this point in time, just taking a hard realistic look from a how could I say, from a optimal point of view, from a proactive point of view, not, just saying, like, how do I want to approach Wimbledon at this point in time? What do I promise myself? What can I do to support myself mentally through this process? How my mind's going to react possibly to any health issues, and how my back's going to. And I'm so sorry to be so repetitive, but I feel like a lot of times I, like, throw out a lot of information, so I think also being repetitive is good in a way. So, yeah, just be really proactive, and just know, oh my gosh, I support you so much. And, this is the time, and I feel like, this issue is, like, being thrown at you. Even though it's happening before, I just feel like, again, it's like when you decide to make a big change, like, it just activates, you know, and you probably know this, like, in other places in your life, like, wherever you just really truly decided to shift your life and shift into a new change, and then here comes this other challenge, you know. And so that's what I feel this is, which is always a good sign. This always happens. It's almost like a mathematical equation. It can't really vary in a certain way. Like, it always just happens. And it's also, let it also serve for you as a really good sign that you're on the right path. You are doing the right thing. You know, when you're doing the right thing, that's what comes forth, these extra challenges. So just really be proactive. Figure out how you're going to support your back through the rest of this. Figure out what you're promising yourself in set one, what you're promising yourself in each moment, what you're promising yourself, like, where you're going to optimize points to save yourself a little trouble, like I mentioned earlier in the video. I definitely think it's worth studying Djokovic to, you know, figuring out a way how to support yourself through a match with him, and making sure that you are as prepared as possible to get past him, and also be able to support your mind as well at this point, so it doesn't, like, start freaking out and stuff like that in its own little way, just creating making anticipations, like, oh my gosh, how are you going to do this, you know how you're going to do this. You're going to prepare, you know what I mean? And you're going to get it done, you know what I mean? And whatever happens, as long as you've prepared, you've done your best. And that's all, again, there's a very important reason why I always repeat this. And I do, and I'm going to repeat it again. That's all that any fan can ever ask for you, is that you just do your best with what you have. We're not asking you to kill yourself. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, within reason. Literally, when it comes to your health, there's nothing of higher importance. So, just figure out a way to support yourself. It's going to be successful. It's going to keep the mind sharp and not be another thing to let it break down. Because, in a certain way, other players will be kind of trying to take advantage of that. And don't let that sink in. Like I was saying the other day, don't let that be something on the back, but let that be something as fire in the belly. Like, okay, you know what? I know people are going to know. People know that my back is hurting or whatever. And, they'll probably be trying to send a lot of different shots. So just be prepared. Like, how am I going to prepare for that? What do I do to counteract that? How can I throw my opponent off? And this is what you should be doing. You should really be focused on how you can throw other people off while supporting your back and your mind, making sure you keep your mind open in order to do this. How can you throw other people off? And I'm sorry, but you know what? Tennis is violent. There's a certain violence in tennis, and this is just what it is. So you're going to have to probably get, it's not ruthlessness, it's just the game of tennis. Like, how can you throw your opponent off? How can you keep him off kilter? How can you make everything inconvenient for him? And if you're busy doing all of that for them, they won't have time to really be doing it for you, because they'll be too busy going off into their own mental thing, And as you can see at Roland Garros, Djokovic does have some things to work on mentally, his mental game a little bit. So there's still some bit of an Achilles heel there. And you're capable of beating him. So just keep a positive attitude, prepare once again, and just know I'm totally with you. This computer is always dying, so I have to hurry up. But it brings to mind this wonderful poem, and I'm sure you know it, of course, the Invictus poem, which in Latin means unbeatable, I believe. And the person, Mr. Henley, who wrote the poem, actually, he was stricken with an illness, I believe, like in a hospital, and he was writing this poem. And this poem's so freaking epic. I'm just going to read the first paragraph, which is, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Like, you just see a freaking poem is so freaking epic, and you don't even know. It's like, oh my gosh, this is someone who is writing about a sickness. It just seems like some Beowulf or Ulysses type of epic, battle with the sea monster at the bottom of the sea in the darkness or something against a man. Like, his poem is just unlocks so much massive imagination in your mind, and you think, oh my gosh, this is somebody writing about their sickness. And I read the last bit. It matters how not straight the gate, how charged with punishments, the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So you just keep that up, Roger. You know what I mean? This is good. This is a good fight, and this is a wonderful opportunity for you to continue on. So just reassess. You're going to be totally fine. Your fans are here for you. We support you 100% of the way. You do what you need to do to take care of yourself. I'll support you, and fans will support you no matter what's going on. And, you know, just prepare. You know what I mean? And look forward, definitely. This is a one time to look forward. And let it be fire in the belly and no burdens on the back. You know, don't worry about don't process any data or information that's going to be a burden on the back. You just keep turning it into, all right, what's the solution for that situation? How, you know, just keep looking at it that way. There's always an answer. Just keep reaching out. I'm sending you great light and energy.